Hello folks, this is Sue Bell from Network Empire, and I'm here with my business partners Jimmy Kelly and Russell Wright. We're doing a set of videos for OMG, and in this video we're going to do keyword selection part 2. Jimmy's going to talk to you about how he selects keywords that he uses both on page, on the money site, as supporting concepts for the primary keyword that we selected in the last video, as well as he uses these keywords when he's doing his domain authority stacking. So they're twofers. So without further ado, I'll step out of the way and let Jimmy Kelly talk to you about keyword selection.
Thanks, Sue. So this one is a little bit different. So certainly you want to go, when you're siloing up your money site, and hopefully you've been following the money and pick proper keywords that will make you money once ranking. This is a little bit different spin because of the keywords we're going to select on this is in direct relation to trying to get as much oomph out of the backlinks that we can. And this is where we kind of start putting in, as it goes through DAS, you want to be mindful of the pages that you link to, that you're kind of maximizing as much juice as you can from each link. So in our silo, if we jump back over to our site here, let me just open this up. So you'll see that this is the website that we just had done for the example of putting up a silo structure on a website. So whatever keywords these are that you determined have the most revenue potential, for me, it doesn't matter what they pick for the revenue potential. My goal when I'm doing my keyword selection is to try and push as much relevance and power of the link to these pages as I can. So in this example, we'll just kind of go look at starter kit. So obviously there's nothing on there, so let's jump back over to our last keyword tool. And here you can see that I do individual silos. So whatever the keywords are for the silos that they picked, right? We put in starter kit, brand, reviews, and coupons as what we put for those silos of the money keywords we want to use on site. So now off-site, what I need to do is find highly relevant keywords that go with that specific keyword that they use for the page. So I already ran this out. I'll just show you. I still have to do the juice one, so I just remember to avoid over-optimization the URL string. We just put in starter kits or we just put in coupons. But when you're going to do a drill, you want to get as relevant as you can. So you put the core keyword back in there. So in our instance, it's green smoke e-cig juice, right? Because so juice, e-cig juice is one of the ones that we determined from the silo before, but because this was the parent, we left it out as part of the structure. We're going to put it back in, the full keyword back in, so we can get the most relevant LSI terms for that keyword. And I'm just going to queue the project. So that's what I've already done for these ones down here. So we're just going to do starter kit real quick. So I'm just going to open up that project. Now in here you can use a lot of different filters to try and determine what's best to use as backlinks. But so to give you an example, Sue really wants you to go for the money, and this is what you should do on site. When you're talking about adjusting the power of the backlinks, a backlink in most cases is not necessarily going to be a money keyword. So when we're selecting these clusters for a backlink, we want to be more heavily weighted for the LSI. So in this column would be more appropriate for what we would pick for the different clusters and the different tags that we're going to use for each property in the DAS cluster. So the filters I like to use when you come up is you can use Jimmy's supporting keywords. Sometimes that weeds out too much and you might only end up with 2 or 3 in some cases. And if you don't get enough, I will switch back over and just do highly relevant instead. So when you come down into this, it still looks like with Jimmy's supporting keywords that it still came out with some pretty good options to use. So let's jump over to the DAS cluster here. So your domain in this example that we're doing for this video was subel.me, okay? And the primary structure that we were using was subel.me / green smoke. So this is the primary silo that we're targeting. And now each of these are the supporters for this specific page. So when we look at this, this is going to be green smoke, right? This is on the same domain again, subel.me. I'm just not going to write it all in because it's going to get too long. And we got reviews, right? So that was one of the supporting pages that we used for this page. And then the one we're doing right now is starter kits. Okay, and let's say on this one, can't remember what one of the other ones was. I think it was, we just used juice, I guess, for an example. Well, let's see. Let's do coupons instead, just for fun. So these are our target. So you can see these are the keywords: green smoke. That one disappeared on me there. Technical difficulties. So these are the way this, you'll see we got the main keyword in the URL. These are on the money site. So now we're going to come back out and we're just going to look at starter kits for now. So when I went into TLKT, that's what we're looking at. And we picked Jimmy supporting keyword filter. And now I'm picking, what I'm picking here are backlinks, but also other content that might be good for that page. So when we look at green smoke starter kit, we have the plural version. It was one of the highest ones. We got a regular one that's just electronic cigarette starter kits. And then we got another one's green smoke cartridges. And we got some more generic ones. Now remember that we went ahead and we built out a silo over to our page here. You'll notice that we did do a generic silo on here already. So I want to be mindful when I'm picking these keywords. When I go back and do other dash stacks for other different silos, I don't want to take away from other main silos that we already have. For instance, when you were looking at this one, we got electronic cigarette reviews. Well, we kind of built this silo out already. We already have another top level silo that is called electronic cigarettes. So I would skip over this one because if I use this one, it would be going into the other silo. I don't want to take away from the relevance that's going into and themed for each of the different silos that have been structured on the site. That's going to keep, your most important keywords going to your most important pages. So in this instance, we have two right off the bat: green smoke starter kits, green smoke cartridges, and then I'm not seeing too many others that are related to green smoke in here. So in this instance, I'm definitely going to write down these two as my top two because I know that there is some cost per click on this, and it does have some search volume. But the most important in this instance is we're looking at the LSI. We want the most relevant LSI. So let's go back over to our handy dandy notepad. And we just want to write down these keywords. Okay, so our target page, we're doing starter dash kits. So I know that that's our main URL. And then I'm just going to write these down so you can see what I'm doing. Green smoke starter kits and green smoke cartridges. Okay, so these are very highly relevant, and we also know that there is some money in those keywords. So those are great ones to use for backlinks. And then you're going to see what else we do with these as we go along. So since there's only two, we probably want to at least get three. You definitely want to at least do three, because remember, we're going to do 3 clusters for a DAS stack, this picture you're looking at, this is only one cluster. It's not three. So I know that in two other clusters, I'm going to have at least 3 inbound links to this page. And so this is why we're kind of picking out these keywords as we go along. So we need just one more. So I'm just going to go back to TLKT, and we are going to just switch this back to highly relevant. Because I guess if it doesn't have money, next and most important thing is your LSI. So we come back into here, and we're going to look at stuff that is not what we already picked over on this list, but that might be pretty good. So we got starter kit. Since this is already a plural, I don't usually go back in and pick the singular in most cases. So let's see what else we got in here. Cigarettes, green smoke. See, there's a good one. You know, and where you are coming up on 2015, might be good to throw in a date in there as well. So I'll show you what I'll do with that in a minute. Ooh, that looks good. This looks highly relevant to something that they might actually sell, the Green Smoke Pro Kit. So not a whole lot of money involved with that keyword, but hey, you never know. So we're going to add that to the list. That one looks like a good one. And then sometimes I just put notes into other ideas I might get. So, you know, just going to note the year. And then I always try to add in at least one, you know, you want to do at least one generic type thing. See, and here's some other types of kits that they have. So the cool thing with the way the Silo plugin is built is you can also build other supporting pages to these ones. So you could always add on some other ones. They might have some great affiliate offers that you could get better sales on and stuff. So I might grab these and just jot them down and see, you know, what kind of return you can get on some of these. So we'll take those 3 for now because we only really need 3 for the first. For a DAS stack, it's going to be 3 clusters. So I have my 3 right here. Okay. So this screen here is representing the different elements that you'll see within the domain authority stacking course, or what we call as DAS. So anytime you hear DAS here on out, just remember that that refers to domain authority stacking. And this blueprint here kind of represents one of the basic structures that I typically do with domain authority stacking. So we're going to get into kind of how to fill this out and what the different pieces are. But before we can really bring you into how you structure DAS, we need to make sure that your on-page and siloing features are set up correctly.
So we're going to use this to show them how the supporting keywords are reflected in the inbound links. Is that right?
That's correct, Sue.
Awesome. Sounds great.
So on the Weebly property, I'm going to specifically make this page about one of the keywords that we chose. So I'm going to write, let's just start with the first one. We're just going to do green smoke starter kits. Okay. We got green smoke starter kits right there. You kind of see that keyword in there. It's a little small. I don't know if I can zoom in for you. So I know it's a pain when you're watching a video and you can't quite see what's going on. So this is representative of a page that is written about one of these keywords that we picked. Now, this happens to have the main keyword that we're trying to rank for, and that's fine. And some of them, they won't be like that. You know, this is about cartridges. So on my next cluster, that property would be written specifically for green smoke cartridges. And then the third one is going to be Green Smoke Pro Kit. Okay, and then if you need more and more as you go along, you can always go and, now that you kind of see how to grab those keywords, that's what you're doing. You go into highly relevant, and you're going to try and find things that are highly relevant for this specific keyword that you're trying to rank for. So now let's go implement this on the blog. So we picked on that specific page, we were on, oh, sorry, let's go back, green smoke. And we want to go to the starter kit. We're just going to edit this page real quick. Okay, so here's our starter kit. So we just need to put some content in here real quick. So I'm just going to copy it, and we'll just paste it in here. Don't mind the spelling errors. So now we got a nice little piece of content in there. A happy little piece of content, as Bob the painter would say. So what do we do? So we have green smoke. That's starter kit. What do you do? Highly. Let's just make it simple. Best green smoke starter kits for 2015. Since we're coming up on New Year, why not be the first one to jump up on the new year, right? So now we also have the instance in here, keywords. So we have starter kit in there already. So the other keywords that we want to put in are the ones that we selected, and these is going to be part of your. This is part of the plugin builder. If this wasn't here, you'd probably also put it into like your Yoast SEO plugin or whatever SEO plugin you're using, because you want to put these in as more like your tags. So we're going to come back over here, and we're going to put in all three of these keywords that we selected. So just put a comma, and we got. Now, if it's written on the same thing, I'm not going to put the same thing. So this was green smoke starter kits, and we already have starter kit here, and everything's optimized both as far as an outbound link in as green smoke starter kit. So I might just go with something generic here. So I'll do green smoke, or maybe just kits, you know, something generic. Starter, beginners, maybe. Beginner kits, you know. So we want to use two generic, and you want to use these other three ones here. So in this case, this happened to be the same keyword, so might not be the best example, but we still have the year here. So the year, we could put 2015. And we got green smoke cartridges. And we have green smoke. So now that's going to be everything that's in your article. Now, one thing that we want to add in, because we're sending inbound links from these other, you know, so we know in our dash stack, there's going to be one inbound link for the specific keyword green smoke starter kit. So, but these are the other two. Your second cluster will be green smoke cartridges, and your third cluster will be green smoke pro kit. So when we go into this, we want to make sure that we include these tags into your content. There's one thing, I'll just go off on a tangent here, why not? One thing, back in the day, I don't remember what update this was called, but somebody ranked President Bush's campaign for worst president in history. And the funny thing is that obviously those words were nowhere found on his page, but they still ranked him using external links for worst president in history. So Google kind of made it change their algorithm. They will not let you rank unless you have the exact keyword that you want to rank for somewhere at
Yeah.
least once in your content.
Yeah, that was called Google bombing.
The Google bomb.
Yeah. I remember that.
So, and this is the interesting thing. Your tags and things are associated with your page. So when you come up to keywords that are very similar, it doesn't mean that some of these keywords are worthless or not worthwhile. You have green smoke starter kits or, you know, things that are very similar. You don't necessarily want to compete with how you're going to optimize your page, but being similar enough, we could certainly put that in as a tag and then probably rank for that as well just by putting it one time in the content. So that's exactly what we're trying to do with these specific keywords that we put into this website here. So we're just going to go over, sorry, I'm losing my place here. And we just want to make sure these tags are in here. So let me just copy them. Green smoke cartridges. We just want to put it somewhere in the content, if it makes sense. Sometimes it can be tricky, but and you just got to kind of put this in somewhere. Green smoke cartridges. Not that that's too legible, but
Okay. We
just
get the idea.
when you're trying to put your keyword in, just make sure it makes sense with the sentence. You don't need to just randomly put it. I'm just putting this randomly in as an example, so we don't have to waste too much time here.
Right. The idea is that you take the primary keyword that you selected for your page, along with all the supporting keywords that Jimmy's talking about, and you send them to your writers, and they write it in the first place. So you're not trying to modify your content after the fact. At least that's what I do. But my writers do hate me.
So now we got both of these on here. So that's great. So now with our inbound links, aside from these are highly relevant LSI that are also possible money makers that are now incorporated into our on page. And that's where I would leave it at from the on page. So I would just hit update, and then those keywords and tags would be associated with that page. So we can go and look at the page and see if it looks any good. I always do that just in case I mess something up. And it looks fine. Okay, so got the tags in there, got the keywords put in. So now we can move over to the DAS stack. So now, what's the next thing? We know that on this Weebly property, we are going to put up the same kind of content of the keywords that we just drilled. So we're just starting with the same one. In this instance, this was green smoke starter kit. So I'm just going to replicate basically the same thing right here. So we're just going to stop this video here, and then we're going to go into how to set up some of these properties individually so you get the grasp of everything that's going on now that you see how you do your keyword selection. So we'll see you in the next video.